Review Board meeting to order. Before proceeding, I would like to provide the board members some guidance on how to use the technology. To speak, you will need to use the mics, which are activated by pushing the talk button. You will need to wait for the chair to acknowledge the speaker before proceeding to talk. Will the clerk call the roll?
Member Bryant, Member Byrd, Member Solorio.
Here.
Member Christensen.
Here.
Member Demrell,
Here.
Member Grant, Member Smith, Member Hahn,
Here.
Chairwoman Beasley Day.
Here.
Chairwoman Beasley Day, Board Member Smith, and Member Bryant are absent this evening. We would like to ask the board to consider their request for an excused absence, which meets our criteria for granting of an excused absence. At this time, we ask for a motion from the board to grant an excused absence.
Aye. All in favor, say aye. All right. Do any of the board members have any conflicts of interest pertaining to items listed on the agenda? Everybody's good? Awesome. As noted on our agenda, public comment will only be in person. Zoom will still be available for viewing and wordly translation. Please note there is no public comment for items 5 through 8, as these items are informational only in nature. Does anyone wish to speak on any items under public comment? This is for items that are not on the agenda. You have 3 minutes to speak. Anyone wishing to address the board is asked to follow the rules of decorum. The rules of decorum are posted at the entrance of the chambers. Board meeting decorum, please be respectful of all presenters, board members, staff, and members of the public. Please refrain from clapping other than following a presentation. All speakers are encouraged to state their name and city of residence. All questions must be directed to the chair. Please do not block the view of others by holding signs up during board meetings. Time limits for public comments is 3 minutes, but may be limited at the discretion of the chair to manage the business of the board. Speaking over others or interrupting while others have the floor is not permitted. Cell phones should be turned off or shall be set to vibrate during meetings. Consider approving the minutes from the Community Police Review Board meeting that was held on January 21st, 2026. Did I just steal your thunder, Sydney? Would anyone like to remove the consent item for further discussion? All right. I have a motion and a second.
Second it.
As the clerk, can you call the roll for this item?
Member Byrd, Member Christensen, Member Grant, Member Demrell,
Aye.
Chairwoman Beasley Day,
Aye.
Member Hahn, Member Solorio, Member Bryant, and Member Smith. I don't think so either, but I'm gonna follow.
And that the motion carries. Public comments. Let's see. I have Manuela.
It's been a while. A lot of people are missing, even in the crowd. I have a couple things I wanted to talk about tonight that I think is extremely important and rather disturbing, actually. One, I'm going to start with yesterday. someone in the community reached out and shared that there was at 12:10 p.m. a Modesto police vehicle blocked and left the vehicle right behind two cars that were parked in the handicap spaces. Okay. The officer went inside Panera and left the vehicle unattended. While the officer came back out, they were asked why they left their car blocking people who were in the handicap parking spaces. And the officer replied, "I'm working on an investigation," and the emergency lights were not on. And I find this very disturbing because to one, block people in is just problematic. And I know sometimes they're an emergency, but no lights are on, and you're blocking people who are handicapped. And if we are not allowed to park in spaces that if we are not handicapped, I agree with that. Why is it okay? It's not okay to block people either. And we have noticed this level of lawlessness continue with police departments across the United States, where rules and laws don't matter to them. And at a very minor level, I mean, I see cops not using their blinkers, not putting their lights on when it's raining or when, just those are safety issues. And if we are getting pulled over for not stopping fully at a stop, not putting our seatbelts on, not having lights, I don't know how many people get pulled over and get a ticket for that. But we see this across the board with MPD. So these seem not the biggest deal, but at the end of the day, it is safety. And it is also about public trust. I don't trust the police because on and on and on, I continue to see their lack of regard and care for rules that are in place, especially for safety. That to me is the end of the day, is safety. But also it's just gross to block people who are parked in disabled parking. And what if they needed to get out? Another couple things. Joseph LaMancha, I don't know if you guys are aware, I don't know where we're at with arbitration and all that with him, but he has now received a DUI. And there's another police officer who also, and we were able to find the public statement of it electronically filed. And another police officer got a DUI in Houston. That comment was left on the MPD's Instagram page. And we were trying to look for it and we couldn't find it, but we don't know. And so I just think these things should be talked about and investigated. Well, it went off before the time. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Kyla, did I say that right? I pray I did.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Kyla, and I'm a resident here at Modesto. I come to you here tonight with 3 questions. The first one being, can we expect as residents that if ICE agents are acting criminally, if they are committing criminal offenses, not civil violations, will MPD intervene and enforce the law? Secondly, I think there is a need for a system to verify if ICE agents are actually such and not just people acting lawlessly under the guise of no identity. And I really hope that MPD can work, if they are not already working on something, to ensure the safety of residents, because this does pose an issue, as we've already seen in the news. Thirdly, a couple of organizations are working towards getting the city of Modesto to pass a compassionate city resolution. And I know an email was sent to Ms. Bird today regarding that. And my question is, should we get that, if we are able to get that resolution passed, can we expect collaboration from MPD to ensure that safety that that resolution aims to provide? Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairwoman,
Yes.
let me just help you out. I think we went a little bit out of order. We were going to
Yeah.
pause for public comment. So you can go ahead and ask if anyone else has public comment, and we can close public comment and move to item 4.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any public comment? Mints? Nope. All right, seeing that, we'll close out public comments. And we will go to new business. And we'll start with, you, Scotty? Are you on?
Chairperson Beasley Day, would you like me to provide a bit of a staff report on that?
Yes, please.
So as a reminder, last month, you all had discussion regarding the board's priorities for calendar year 2026. And as a result of that, there were three focus areas that that came about, and then I'll go over those in just a moment. And then there are also particular items that you have interest in exploring further. And those items actually are listed within the priority areas. Please note that the kind of the topics like we used to do in the past, that's what these particular items would be. So if I could, I would like to kind of review the priority areas and the particular topics that are below or within each of those areas. As a reminder, this is not an opportunity to dig into any of these topics because later on they will obviously be agendized. But this is to kind of set the cadence for the year, and then we can go from there. So is there, okay, did we provide these copies? Okay. So I actually have, I have a printed copy here of the CPRB's 2026 priorities. For any members of the public that don't have a copy of this, they are located in the lobby out front where the agendas are, so you're more than welcome to follow along. So priority one is compliance and legal risk. Items tied to statutory requirements, reporting obligations, or high public scrutiny. That's that particular priority. The next one is public safety and strategic partnerships. The programs and collaborations that directly impact safety outcomes and operational effectiveness. And for example, PD and Stanislaus County Behavioral Services, Health Services, a collaborative approach to safety and how they work together. Police Department and partnerships protecting our community are within that section as well. Priority number three is prevention and community programs. It's important long-term impact initiatives with lower immediate risk. And this is contains overview of the Wake Up Youth Diversion Program. And I'm sorry, I was remiss. I'm going to go back to the first priority, and there are the topics that were listed there. A review of RIPA data and compliance requirements, which was covered in the past, and Lieutenant Kleiber can speak to that for just a moment. And then there's military style equipment, purpose, oversight, and safeguards. We have some information about that as well that Lieutenant Kleiber will provide tonight as we're solidifying these particular topics within the priority areas. And then lastly is overview of MPD policy 466 and procedure 412. And then I will.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Policy 466 is regarding First Amendment assemblies, and procedure 412 is regarding mass arrest procedures.
Okay, so those are the topics there, and I will turn that over to you, Madam Chair, so that you can have discussion and hopefully eventually a motion to approve these so that we can move forward for this year. Thank you.
Awesomeness.
And-
Does,
Sorry,
the-
one last.
go ahead.
So Simi has also put up the calendar that we're used to seeing with topics. She's going to be putting that up on the screen as well to kind of help you, I think, help you kind of follow along with the cadence of the year as well. So thank you.
Thanks, Cindy. Does the board have any questions for the staff regarding these priorities? Yes.
I don't speak unless you let me.
Yes. Go ahead,
I
Brad.
just, when I looked at priority three, I thought of we've had a lot of discussion about doing things outside. I think it would be, and I don't know that that is a necessitates a ad hoc committee, but to do an outside meeting every quarter, we could go, use a school and it costs $200 or $300 to clean it afterwards or whatever, and I think it'd just be good because I remember the one we did at King Kennedy Center. It was so many people there, and they had some things they wanted to talk about. And I think we just do our regular meeting, whatever we have that day, but we're just doing it outside and give people the chance to talk. And then, I don't know where we left the whole thing about getting a table and a tent so that we could go to different things, but I think that's something that we need to do, is get out and do, get a list of the public events like, Earth Day and things like that, that we would have a booth out there and talk to people.
Madam Chair, if I could, so this might be some great conversation under the next item, which is formation of ad hoc committees and other groups to determine some of these. As far as a priority is concerned, we can certainly list these within the priorities if you would like to select a category and do so.
I saw it, prevention and community programs, and I thought that
Fall under that.
that was what
Yeah.
brought that
Do
on.
that.
I think we need to consider, as these are listed here as bullet points, is it a feeling that compliance and legal is one presentation and those three are all incorporated into one, or are those three bullets each separate based on depth of the content? If we're going to calendarize this, some of these could be combined, but those three together in one meeting sounds like a lot.
And they'd have to be, I suggest, broken down into
Um,
bite-sized pieces.
I'm gonna help out just a little bit. So the priorities, like 1, 2, and 3, that's just like a whole like broad scope of what's falling underneath them. The sub bullets are various topics that were emailed in by different board members. So you guys will pretty much do sort of like a drag and drop if that topic carries forward, if we still want to see it or not. So whatever that would be in whatever month. And then, of course, like I said, if you guys come up with a different topic at any given time within 3 to 6 months while we go through this, we can always figure out where to put that. So if you would like, we could go through each priority in each sub bullet and just Chairwoman can read off the bullet and you can discuss amongst yourself what month you'd like to place that in, and then also probably speak to Lieutenant Kleiber regarding a couple of them to see if that needs to be covered again, or what exactly you would like to see in detail. Okay?
Thank you. All right. We'll go over priority 1, compliance and legal risk, review of RIPA data and compliance requirements. What is that?
So if you remember in October of, I believe, 24, we did a presentation on RIPA.
Mhm.
Again, what RIPA is the department sends data to the state collects the data from all departments throughout the state in order to look at potential legislation changes and those types of things. It's not something we collect in-house in order to analyze in-house. We don't analyze it in-house. It's given to state. It's publicly available on the RIPA website for anyone to look up. So other than rehashing what we talked about in October of 24, because the standards and requirements haven't changed, I'm not sure where the question would lie with that. So
Okay.
Again, it's publicly accessible information, which we can absolutely look at sending to the board members later on if they're interested in it. But as far as the presentation goes, there isn't anything really to report beyond what was reported in October of 24.
Is there any value to asking if somebody from RIPA comes and tells us what they do with their data? Or is that, do they supply reports or whatever?
They have reports, yes. So I don't personally have connections with anyone from the state for that purpose, but I don't know.
Do they give you guys any feedback on?
Only whether we're in compliance or not, which we have been. And again, with compliance, it's referring to reporting the data to them.
Yeah. Did you guys create like a policy or a training manual for police officers to fill out the RIPA reports that they have to do?
No, but it gets audited from our records division to make sure that they're being filled out. So.
So they basically like the compliance check and all that is RIPA will tell you if you guys are within compliance and all that.
Correct. The state will tell us, yeah.
Okay. Anyone else on the board have a question with regard to the RIPA data and compliance requirements?
I mean, the RIPA is in a sense to help identify like disparities, isn't it? Within the department, if there is a disparity.
There's zero intention to identify disparities within the department, which is why we don't analyze that data. It's for the state to collect the data statewide. Every agency in California from San Diego to Eureka sends this data to the state. The state collects it in a statewide database to identify on their own. It's not to identify what this department's doing versus what this department's doing. It's to collect all the statewide data in one group.
To do like a California legislation
If
needed.
correct.
type thing.
Yeah, and that's the Sacramento thing, not here.
And what you see on your screen right here is that presentation that Lieutenant Kleiber provided in 2024. There's
Mhm.
quite a bit of information in this.
And if we wanted to review this again, could we find it on our website?
It is listed,
That's
that's exactly where I just pulled it from.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions with regard to this bullet point?
I think what that just showed us is the reminder of a summary of what it is, kind of puts it back in perspective, because that's enough time to not remember exactly how it does or doesn't apply here.
Exactly, yeah.
Do we have any frequently asked question type things on our website that would, if you put in there RIPA, that it would say, link it to this presentation? Because there's a lot of us.
Mm.
I mean, it's not the only board I've been on where we had a report last month, and this month somebody wants to have a report on it. Well, if we had an easier way for people to get on there and say RIPA, they would go to this report, and if they wanted more information, they could talk to you about it because your name's on it. I think that would be it.
Flag it.
Staff can take that under consideration, just on as a, something that we could do to consider for providing on our website. We do have a list of all of those topics that are on one, and it kind of acts as a little bit of as an FAQ on its own. Just if you start perusing those, you can see, oh, here's the RIPA report, or here.
And then
We,
you just
Board member Solorio and I talked a little bit, a little while back, just regarding kind of renaming some of these as well to make them a little bit more obvious. And like, referencing certain things like the OIR report and things like that. So, yeah, take that under consideration.
Well, if you've got the topics listed in general categories with you push a link and you're there to the report, that's fine.
In an effort to keep moving through each of these, the refresher we just got, I don't see a need to have the RIPA data and compliance, a whole new presentation on our calendar.
No. Anyone else?
Maybe well, everybody could get to the website. I guess not everybody, but I was just thinking if we had a handout that says here's the topics you can get to, but I think most everybody has a phone.
Link.
Like don't you guys think it would be nice to go over the data that gets collected though? Like, I understand we can see it, but if we go over it as a board and review it together.
If it's state level data, does it help us determine what we need to do here?
But we could get the data from just Modesto Police Department. It's not all collected with the
Can you
state.
split it out like that by department?
We have not done that. no.
Like-
I'm not sure if the state
Like you
does.
guys fill it out, you send it to the state, but like we can review just Modesto's RIPA data, correct?
It's not, again, this is what was from October 24. It's not collected in a manner that's easily accessible in that way. So I don't know if that data exists out there. We do not take that data and interpret it.
Is that what you guys are working on? That kind of dashboard to collect that?
We're working on
data?
dashboards, but not for that.
But not for that.
No.
Yeah, to me, looking at the data that MPD provides to the state is something I would be interested in, but not looking at the data for the state as a whole. That just makes no sense. So,
The way I'm interpreting what the lieutenant is sharing is it's not collected
yeah.
in attachment to this department versus that department. It's just, it's automated. It comes in and goes up. They may not be able to pull that.
Yeah, it's not stored here for that purpose. It's given to the state. So we don't store it in
Like
here
a
for that
password.
interpretation.
Passes through to them.
Correct, yeah.
The dashboards that you're working on, does it pull some of the like data that you may be looking for?
They're in progress, so I don't know what specifics will be on the dashboards when they come through, but stop data and whatnot might be, I don't know.
Yeah, because I remember previously us talking about stop data and where stops are being, the heat spots and
Mhm.
who's being stopped and all that kind of stuff. And personally, I was hoping that would come out of the RIPA data, but again, we've had this discussion.
Yeah, maybe.
But you have that kind of data, right? As far as,
We have some of it. I'd have to look to see what specifically.
well, I
we
know
don't
that
have.
there's a concentration
Like a heat
map, the heat map that says there's down McHenry, down here, down
Right,
that. These are
right,
what
yes.
they are. And these are the types of violations that are happening.
Yes, yeah.
So I think that's probably
Bet-
as
better than-
useful as what the RIPA data would be if we had it.
Anything else regarding bullet point number 1, the RIPA data? Nope. All right.
I think as we work our way down each one of them, we can circle back if we see a correlation.
Mhm.
Or any-
Military, excuse me, military style equipment, purpose, oversight, and safeguards.
Can I,
Hmm.
never mind, I'll just wait till we get to it.
So just in regards to military equipment, so everyone's aware, what is designated as military equipment is defined by the state, and there are certain requirements. So we have, on our website, we have a link that shows all of our military equipment as defined by the state. We're also required to do a public meeting, which we do every year in the springtime, usually around May. It hasn't been, the specific date hasn't been scheduled this year, but it's an event open to the public in the lot of the police department, so they can not only know what we have, but actually see it firsthand, ask questions to those who operate the equipment. It's an open house that's available to everyone every year.
Oh.
So, and I believe that began in 2022 or 2023. So we've done this at least 3 times, I believe. So, and it's coming up this spring.
Oh, it's in the spring.
Yes.
You know, when I read this, I thought, man, that's a great opportunity for a field trip to go,
Mhm.
To find out what SWAT does, because that's mostly what I would guess is this type of military style equipment is there. When you deploy them, how do you deploy them? How are they trained?
Mhm.
What are the issues with, I know some of the trauma that comes with that and all that. That would be a good meeting, whether we do it here or somewhere else, that would, because I remember, we all remember the field trips that we took when we did some of the use of force training and things like that. That was very, very helpful and effective. And just to see how it's used and why it's used
Yeah.
would be helpful.
And that could be from the open house. It's on a Saturday, so it doesn't conflict with, the standard Monday through Friday schedule that most folks
Does
have.
it do what I was talking about, have the,
Yeah, it's there for you to see the equipment, to ask questions again of those who use it. I'm not an expert in how this piece of equipment is used, but the person who is there and they can answer.
I was
questions.
talking about broader than that, not just the equipment, but how does SWAT work when you use it? What kind of situations do you?
Are we able to ask those
when-
questions
Well,
in that
You-
spring
you
open?
would definitely have SWAT operators there. Yes. Yeah.
Well, maybe that might be just adding a few aspects to what you're already doing. That might be a good, and we should, if we know about it, we go to it and learn what's
I
going
don't-
on.
And I don't know if they go into like policy and what the policy is behind using the equipment, how it gets recorded once the equipment is used, all those kind of things. I don't think they go into that kind of stuff at those.
Well, I'm sure they would go over, the policies regarding when it's used. That's part of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we just go to that, and if we need more, we ask for more.
It's an example of a community event that we're asking to have a
exactly,
list of,
exactly.
where can we
could
pinpoint some of our
probably close
focus?
it out more, that, if you're interested in these matters, that we're hosting, or police department's hosting this thing, and we'll see you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we get the,
Good place for our pop-up tent.
Exactly.
I thought it was here to say popcorn, that's hungry, so maybe that's.
But that's coming up. You said it's springtime that it has
Said
an open
May.
house, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's generally in May, just that's
Oh.
the best weather typically for
You
about
just
outdoor event.
Be sure to get us that when it is, and
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. As soon as it's scheduled, I could have that for the March or April meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so we should have, since it's in May, maybe we should have that in May, whether it's before or after, it could be like a overview of what it is, what the event is, or it could be a review of how the event was and what happened during the event. That could happen in May under revisit CPRB priorities as far as the calendar, presentation calendar.
like a smaller second
Yeah.
presentation.
Just like a small presentation of what it is. Like if it didn't happen, if the meeting is before it, just it's kind of like a promotional thing, like just talking about what it is. And if it happened after, just like a small review of what it was.
Yeah, if I could suggest, I mean, I think that would be a good opportunity for like a board comment before to announce, and then a board comment after
Right.
about what it was, rather than a PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, okay. That works.
So, you know what I mean? And if there's remaining questions after the event, then we can
okay.
we could look at working that into a presentation or board comment, whichever is more appropriate for that.
Kind of like that idea, because we see what we see and what's still missing that we want to know, then we bring it up as question.
I agree.
right, and then we're talking asking informed questions instead of.
And seeing how the community is interacting and asking
I think
questions.
that's good.
Good. So May, everyone, we're looking at May.
Mm-hmm. Right. Overview of MPD policy 466 and procedure 412. Board comments?
I was thinking maybe that can go in June. Because that can almost be like, because you guys are doing a response report to the annual report. Maybe that could happen the same time.
Kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, because it's like a policy day.
Didn't we get some of this already with the other stuff that we've gone through recently, though?
It's been
Yes. a little
We
bit.
got it like in an email of what the policies were, like here's the policy 466 and here's policy 412, but it wasn't something that we reviewed nor brought into consideration during the June protest
And I
last
think it was
year.
in a presentation, but only slightly, like when Chief Gillespie too,
Yeah.
when he was reviewing, it was like a small.
Like
Can't
just
hear
the
you.
definition of it, you gotta be on.
Board
the-
Member Grant,
Oh.
I can't hear you.
I was talking to another board member. I didn't want to speak it out. I know my voice carries from that.
if I could, the
Working on it.
the policy and the procedure again are on the website, so I'm not sure if there's specific questions regarding them or if this is just to display
I
the
mean,
policies.
Without getting like too detailed into it, the mass arrest, just how MPD goes about doing that when it comes to a protest, and just the policy of arresting protesters. I read it and it says that it's a cite and release. But, for example, we had a situation where people were arrested and put into a holding cell for a while. So those are the types of questions that I have, reviewing the policies as they state that it's a cite and release.
Mm.
So that's kind of where I personally am more invested in on those overviews.
What are you looking for in the presentation piece of it, though? What is it you're asking?
I just want, I mean, if the policy is stating, example, again, stating a cite and release, like why did the officers decide that it was a booking case?
What are the
What are the
criteria? that
criterias of that makes it go from, all right, I know the policy says this site and release them, but things change, so we had to make
Well,
it
when-
a
if
booking
the
or.
person doesn't comply, then they're gonna get arrested. It's release if they comply.
I could just say if we're looking at talking about the event from last June, we won't be able to discuss that because there's still threatened litigation going on with it, so that won't be
Yeah,
discussed.
But it's just an example, the best example I can give right now to go over it. But it's just definitely something that I would like to review, and if there needs to be a change, if there needs to be worded differently to say different criterias for taking someone to the jail to book them versus what the policy states. I mean, just things like that. I mean, that also, yes, I guess could be in an ad hoc, but we have to review it as a board first and then send it to an ad hoc and bring it to consideration.
Oh, thank you.
So-
I'll just weigh in real quick. Maybe a suggestion is that it's because they are available publicly and online, go take a look at them. And then if there's something that you want to talk with the police chief or to Lieutenant Kleiber or myself, to suggest, a way to bring that forward to review what it is that kind of what I'm hearing right now, that might be an opportunity in the future. But right now it's like, in the bylaws, it talks about, engaging with the police department. It's
I think that would be it.
to improve the relationships between the police department and the public, things like that. Reviewing policies is one of those. It's like, I'm always kind of looking at to do what, right? And so whatever it is that we're kind of focused on, it's in order to accomplish something. And so maybe that's an opportunity. I mean, maybe not just these policies, but any of the policies in the areas that we just talked about for these areas of focus. If it's like, hey, you know what, we'd like to learn a little bit more. And like I've said in the past, staff is always available to speak with you about a way to look into that, or if you want to review a little bit more. There might also be opportunities, like it's also in your bylaws, to attend trainings at the police department, to go on ride-alongs, that sort of thing. When we were talking about SWATs a little bit ago, there are those opportunities in order to like engage with the police department and then maybe come back here and to discuss maybe possible, different topics and things like that. So just thought I'd just offer that.
Okay, so you're kind of just saying like, go that route, and then if need be to put on the agenda, we can do that.
Yeah, and that's where you can call staff and we can talk about that.
Okay, because I just want to make sure like we can't recommend anything that we don't talk about in public, right? So like,
Yeah.
if we did talk about this, we have to make an agendized item on it eventually so that it can be
Yeah.
in the report for the following year.
Correct.
Okay. Just want to make sure I got it all in order.
Nico, kind of sounds like you wanting to do a policy review on those two pieces on one side, but it also sounds like you want to understand circumstances that elevate from one circumstance to the other. And they kind of sound not the same. The policy review sounds like its own thing when you say, how is it worded? Should it be changed? Versus understanding what causes this response from that action. And I think that's like a separate kind of a overview versus a policy review.
Well, I guess there's a procedure, so the mass arrest procedure overview, and then the policy, but they're both like,
They're interconnected,
Yeah.
yeah.
I bet you're right. It is kind of the whole thing. So it's getting a report on it, us reviewing it, listening to what it is, asking our questions, and then if we had to create an ad hoc for a policy change, if recommended, then that would be the next step of that.
If I could weigh in just a second, because I'm trying to figure out what Nico's saying, and I want to be sure. There were 2 events last year, and in preparation for each of those 2 different events, it appeared to be a completely different policy. One showed up with full riot gear and horses and lots of equipment. And then later in the year, there was a similar group and they were out on bikes in shorts, and the officers were, and and it was much less intense. So it seems like somewhere along the way, somebody made a policy decision long before the council ever voted on a mask policy. It was handled differently, which I applaud. But I would be curious to know if the MPD has changed their policy and how they're going to approach this as like they did in the second one, or will they vary back and forth between those two approaches that they took to the two different demonstrations? I mean, I think I don't know if that's what you're trying to get at. What's the policy?
Yeah,
What's
it's,
the
Or-
criteria that creates one
Create-
versus another?
Yeah.
yeah,
If it's you said a catch and release versus
a cite and release versus
Cite
like
and
an
release, cite and
actual,
release, whatever.
actual
look at
booking.
fish, huh? As opposed to you're arrested and you're going,
Yeah, you're going to
to
jail.
jail.
And
yeah, when
when is that decision
what's the
made?
fine line to decide?
Yeah,
Yeah, or not fine line. That's what I understood you to say.
yeah, like, is it gonna be a policy and we're gonna follow it? Or are we gonna decide when we're gonna
Mhm.
follow this policy? Or is it gonna be followed
Recollection
24/7?
of that event is that those who complied weren't arrested, and those who continued to not comply were arrested.
I don't want to get too far into the event.
Wow.
I think we also, if we're going to go down this, keep
Nice.
it general and not tied to events. This is a broad overview, what you're talking about, and not event specific.
Yeah.
Because it stands or it doesn't. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what the event is.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we'll look at the policy. June. You guys all agree June would be an appropriate time?
I think so.
I think,
And then,
I'm still confused because again, the policy is public. It hasn't changed.
Right.
The actual, when you look at the policy itself, it gives you every time it's
Okay.
been amended. So the policy 412 has, regarding mass arrest procedures, has never been amended. And policy 466 was last edited in August of 2023.
okay,
So the policies are the same. It definitely sounds like we're going down the road of wanting to talk about these particular events, which we can't talk about
Right.
in here. So again, if there are questions regarding the policy, I'm always available to answer those questions individually, but in terms of presentation, I don't know the value of going up here and just reading the policy as we have without having a specific understanding of where it's going at that point.
That's fair.
Chairwoman, may I suggest,
Yes.
since we do have a revisit to
That was
priorities in May, how
Yes.
about board members take some time to connect with Lieutenant Kleiber, and then we can see where this lands by May?
That's exactly what I was just looking at. Thank you. Well said. All right. So we're good. We're all good. We agreed to take a look at it, and meet up with Lieutenant Kleiber to ask our deep questions and then determine when we come back in May and we're revisiting these priorities that we can determine if it needs to be an agenda item or more elaboration on it. Agreed?
Yes.
All right. All right, priority 2, public safety and strategic partnerships. Programs and collaborations that directly impact safety outcomes and operational effectiveness. PD and Stanislaus County Behavioral Health Services, a collaborative approach to safety.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
I just would like to make a recommendation for priority 2, the bullets in priority 2, and the priority in the bullet in priority number 3 to all be on March 18th, 2026, because they all seem like they coincide together. And if it's
You said it for March?
yes, because the Wake Up Diversion program is in March.
Mhm.
And then that seems like more so of a community programming and some type of strategic partnership day from what kind of how I see it. And then we could see if because I wanted to ask PD if you guys do have a behavioral health presentation, could you guys combine it with the PD and partner? Sorry,
Yeah.
could you combine it with the PD and partnership presentation?
The behavioral health one, is that what you're saying?
Right.
With
like-
two bullets in that one, can they be one?
Yeah, can they be one presentation?
I would think so. That's not
Mhm.
really my area of expertise, so I don't want to guarantee that, but I believe more than likely they could. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just asking because when I feel like we've done this before, and I believe the last time we did it, the slides for the partnership was kind of small, I believe. And so I just truly believe that if behavioral health and you know the PD were kind of combined, we can kind of just see it all in one. And then with the wake up diversion program, it's all kind of like one day. That's kind of how I see it. Just wanted to ask everyone else. So that was just a recommendation.
I like it.
So are we saying we want to combine the two items and kind of highlight some key partnerships between PD
Mhm.
and one of them being
Behavioral
county
health.
behavioral health?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other key partnerships you guys would like for us to kind of notate or Lieutenant Clymer to notate?
I was gonna ask, which partnership are we referring to in the second bullet there? PD and partnership.
Thought it was general.
I think it was a general suggestion, yeah.
Right. Like it's just we partner with the community. This is how we connect with the community, ways of criteria of how we do it. That's kind of how I see it. I didn't even know if it was like an individual.
No, I think it was general, and I think there was some topics that were shared last year. So if there's any other
Correct.
new ones, if you would like, Lieutenant Kleiber could independently choose a couple to highlight, of course, including the suggestion. I don't know.
I
Or unless-
suspect the behavioral health one, there's a lot involved with that one. There's a lot of moving parts with that. I think if that is the second bullet in March with and these are others we have, and if any jump out at us of being worthy of more info, that we could add them to the list
Okay.
later.
And then we can keep PD and partnerships as kind of like a standing under the PD priority number 2. So when we do visit in May, if there's a new partnership you're curious about, then we can add that. Does that
I
sound
think
okay?
for us to learn about those partnerships, obviously there's more than one, and we're not going to know about them yet. We didn't know about the SWAT community event. These are examples of things where, as we get to learn about them, we can take more action or get more involved or invested.
So just connect, so I can understand, are we talking about a presentation regarding BHRS and the police department, how they work together is how we're starting off?
Yes.
And then that might kind of move into potentially in a future presentation regarding something else? Is
Yeah,
that?
with that, as you summarize the behavioral health one, we also have partnerships with, and just drop in some of them, and as they come, share those with us, so we can start thinking about, well, we didn't know about that.
Like
Let's
you
learn
make,
more.
like Boys and Girls Club, say you have something going on with them or baseball or PAL or, whatever. I really always remember that guy that when you got the guy that came that does everything, the
Oh.
police.
Oh, you're talking about John?
He's like on
John,
steroids.
yeah.
And then the other one was when you guys do the makeover the bedroom. That's a huge deal.
I think
Those are,
that's-
those aren't, I don't know if they're strategic partnerships, but they're things that you do that.
That's the way good for you.
It's morphed into something big. Have we had a presentation on that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we
We did.
did. And
Okay.
I'm thinking stuff like that
Mhm.
that are,
Something, yeah.
nobody would know about.
Right.
What is that program called? Now we're at a loss.
Mm.
Safe room, healthy room?
Healthy room.
Healthy room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it.
Figured it out.
So we're not talking about chat, because we've had that
Mm.
presentation.
No.
No.
That's a program of the department,
Yeah, but we're talking
Not
about
a
BHRS.
partnership.
only,
Right, right,
not
right.
BHRS.
Mm.
is a partnership.
Like the gospel mission partner or
Mhm.
something like that. I'm just using.
And there's also there's just several things. I mean, there's so many things that the police department does with reaching out from Coffee with the Cop to National Night Out to neighborhood watch programs. And maybe that does kind of fall into the, those strategic partnerships that you are in, like what you all are kind of charged with in your bylaws. It's like the police, the public or the community and the police department relationship.
And how could we maybe connect with some of those things and instead of creating something on our own, we could just.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
Coffee
I
with
know.
a Cop is good.
I mean, I know we get calendar invites emails to a lot of the events that
Mhm.
you guys, that the department puts on, coffee with the cops and conchas with the cops and all that kind of stuff like that. We get that, but we just don't have anything that we can really show up in. It's just our plain clothes saying, "Hey, I'm Nico with the CPRB." There's nothing that I'm wearing that's representing the board or anything like that. So that's kind of my shy away, to be honest with you guys.
But then also just to throw out an idea like out there. Also, the timing of some of those events too can be rather difficult. I mean, at 9 a.m. with a coffee with a cop, I got to use PTO, you know, in order to go. But
Mm.
also, I think there's opportunity there to where we can combine and do something similar. It doesn't have to be coffee with a cop, but I think everyone's kind of, you know, kind of getting what I'm getting at. You know, it could be like sandwich with the CPRB and the police department. You know, just ideas like that. So like
We'll have
Brad said, we
soda.
don't have to reinvent the wheel at all. We can just literally combine with each other.
So I think March, I think we're all on the same page there, yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
That would
the
be
wake
good.
up program, the
Oh, she's
partnerships.
already added it.
Sorry, the wake up program is just the partnerships with that. I know we spoke a little bit on it, but if there's a way we can just, get a little bit more in depth of like how the kids are selected, if, what schools are we partnered with in that? Are we partnered with like the principals? Are we partnered with the counselors, or like who is it and how is it that we can get those kids that are going down that road? How can we get more of them into that program? And I want the board to learn what the program consists of, what they're teaching the kids, what they're doing, and then if needed, what else can we add to the program to make it better,
Mhm.
and more support for the kids and for the families.
Yeah, I definitely think that would be an opportunity for a presentation rather than a sidebar Q&A or something, because that's definitely relevant. And I think we can definitely work that into a presentation.
Okay. Yeah, because the few classes I went to, I thoroughly enjoyed them, and I just wish that there was a little bit more kids there.
Yeah, it was the first time I'd personally been to it either, and it was very interesting. I
Yeah,
thought.
it was good.
Right.
But is that going to be too much in March, do you think?
Yeah, that's
Because
funny. That's
normally
what
come-
Simi and I were just talking about.
Yeah,
That
that's
might
why I
be
was
a
like,
little bit
it's-
much.
I think
think
you
it's
know,
gonna be
spread
much?
these out.
Well,
Yeah,
and then also maybe the availability of BHRS. I don't know if they'll
right away.
That's kind of, we don't have that yet.
Oh,
So
that's
kind of setting this maybe with like meeting here with this one or this one could be helpful. Depending on the scheduling of folks that we would need to partner with in order to provide that information.
So you're suggesting that those are actually more involved than we were just thinking off the top?
Right, because I was like,
Then I would suggest that because revisit CPRB priorities doesn't need to be a whole meeting in May. So maybe we move behavioral health down to that one, give them a little more lead time, keep the Wake Up Youth program in March.
May.
No March.
She
Not
keeps dropping
April.
them on, and her line keeps going away on her. PD and behavioral health down.
Yeah,
down
we were
in
thinking
May.
when we revisit in May, the PD instead of, yeah, there you go. Yep. there you go.
wait. If my memory is correct, we have the military in May.
Oh, yeah.
No, we didn't say anything.
So we
You said
decided
the
that you
event
guys
in
would
May.
attend the event
Yes.
and then see if you would have more questions, and then we'll do the
The event is
revisitation.
in May. We don't know what date in May. Mhm.
So like if you're going back to Scotty's parking lot that he likes to have, the military style equipment could be on the parking lot consideration for June after some of us get to go
Mhm.
see that SWAT event.
Right.
Unless the event happens to be before our May meeting, where we can make the comment then and ask for it in June.
Yeah, well, after you attend, I mean, obviously you can communicate with staff and say, hey, this is what we're thinking. We'd like to consider, presentation on this, that, and the other thing. And then we can schedule that, at the next meeting, board comments and reports. You know,
I
you
think
could-
part of his question was if the event is before or after our May meeting.
Oh, I
If
see.
it's before the May meeting and we do it as a board comment, there could be a request to agendize something in June.
apologies.
So
I'll fix these.
it's all good.
Yeah, and just so you know, to my knowledge, it hasn't been scheduled for this year, but I know last year, I'm just checking, it occurred on April 29th. So end of April, beginning, also, I don't know if that would be the same this year, but that's when it occurred last year. So.
It still works then for the meeting.
Is there anything else that's like an open house? Like there are a series of open houses for different departments for different, I mean, this was, you referred to this as an open house, this thing in May, right? Are there other events? I mean, there's runs and there's things that where community collects,
I'm thinking, not that I know of offhand. No.
like the.
'Cause I know you guys
the
have, like-
Headquarters doesn't have a open house separate from this, or the.
You guys don't have one for background check analyst or crime
No.
analyst?
You have a
No,
CSI.
well, we
do
do,
recruiting open
they
houses.
do open houses for, well, I wouldn't call it an open house necessarily, but a presentation for various positions, you know, police officer position, you come in and you learn about it. But in terms of like touring the facilities and whatnot, no, no.
I think when we hear from the other community partnerships, that'll help give us ideas of things to focus on in that way.
I agree.
I think with the community partnerships, including like that CSI camp that you guys do, I think that would be good to have that in there. A lot of those camps that you guys do with the youth, just informing us and the public about it.
See, I already want to know more about that. What?
Right.
Yeah, it's like a week long or something, I think. Yeah.
Those are pretty popular.
Yeah.
You said
It's
CSI,
something we don't all know about, so I'm
like
glad you do.
camps for
I
youth?
think it would be good if you guys thought of, if I only had this, I could do these things, the police department, maybe we could help with making some things happen that you guys just can't get to.
Mhm.
So we're kind of working together instead of reporting to each other.
Did we kind of accomplish all that?
Yes. Mhm.
Definitely do.
Right.
Yep.
So we're lining up. We look pretty full right now.
You're on a roll, madam.
Yep, we're on a roll. We are on a roll. Let's see. Where am I at now, Simi? Help me out.
Creation of ad hoc.
So you could call for a motion at this point if you'd like to kind of confirm the topics as they stand,
Right.
and then we can move forward.
And the parents.
And the priorities as they stand currently. And I think we can send out another email right before the revisit in May, as I did this last time. So whatever comes up in the next 5 months for you guys for ideas, we'll keep adding them to the priorities.
Like
May is
3
in
months.
3 months.
Next 3 months, believe it or not.
It's been a day.
So the next 3 months. Can you scroll down to the bottom of this?
To the parking lot.
Scotty's
Yeah,
parking lot?
okay. Oh, that's what it says. Okay. All righty. Thank you very much. So do I have a motion that the calendar as it is now, has everybody reviewed it and we're okay with it? Can I get
I'll make a motion to accept the calendar and priorities as currently defined.
Thank you very much. Do I have a
Welcome.
second?
Second.
Clerk, can you go ahead and do a roll call?
Member Christensen,
Yes.
Member Grant,
Aye.
Member Demrell,
Yes.
Chairwoman Beasley Day.
Yes.
Member Han.
Aye.
Member Soloria.
Aye.
All right, the motion carries. Locked and loaded. All right. All right, so now we're gonna have 4B. The creation of ad hoc committee supporting our 2026 CPRB priorities. Before proceeding, I'd like to preface that under this item, if board members do not have specific topics or goals with respect to 2026 CPRB priorities, which would require the creation of an ad hoc or subcommittee, we may always add this item to a future agenda as needed. However, we should curate the ad hoc regarding the CPRB 2025 annual report. Any questions?
Did we sunset the current ones?
We're gonna do that.
That's part of what we're doing tonight.
We're getting to that.
Yep. We're getting there. So do you guys have any questions?
Like
We gotta
ideas?
create it, right?
Excuse me?
We gotta create the annual report ad hoc.
Yeah.
That one's
But we have-
required, I think, at
Yeah.
this point, and half of us are missing. so
But
I
if there's
think
any
that's-
specific ad hocs, then this is where we can talk about it.
Right.
Okay, strategic partnership ad hoc.
Strategic partnership ad hoc?
Yes.
Can you define that?
Yes, please.
The strategic partnership ad hoc is just the way I look at it when it looks at PD. That could be like start partnering with PD on certain things, like we're kind of talking about today when it came to events or something of that nature. That could be strategic because that's going to bring people more to our meetings and it's going to bring recruitment to them if they want to use it for such. So that's how I was looking at it. And then also partnering with community partners. So like if they do have an event, we show up to an event. If police department has an event, we show up to their event. It's almost like we're just making sure that we're focused and we can honestly, when I think of strategic, I think a strategic plan for the partnerships too. Like the ad hoc would create a strategic plan as to how we would go about partnering with other community programming and then also police department.
No, I agree, and that's kind of where the two things I brought up out of turn when I first started should go in that group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, quarterly outside meetings or whatever that
Yeah.
group decides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems to fit and then be enough meat to do something too.
Right. And then it's like, when we create a plan, we could start really asking amongst ourselves who's able to start going to some of these events. Because I think sometimes what we come to find out is that we'll hear an event amongst ourselves, but it's not, we never really know who's going. And then also, we can't, this whole Brown Act thing too, like when it comes to showing up at an event, like, can we come as all of ourselves or do we have to come as a certain number? And that's what I kind of faced too. Like I didn't want to show up at an event and
And be out of compliance.
right.
Yeah.
We
And
could
there's like
go.
4 of us there and it's like, oh, I gotta leave. So it just helps
I'm
out.
not the attorney, but as long as we're just going to an event without speaking about stuff we're going to be talking about here,
Then we're good.
There's no
We're good.
violation.
But I understand, I
Oh.
think I understand that. I think the thing I get confused about is what if we do get asked a question or something?
Alex is with us.
I'm
So if you're at an event that's unrelated to the city and the police department, that's fine. As long as you're not, discussing amongst yourself this stuff. So if you individually happen to get asked a question by someone, that's totally fine. We talked about the weapons, the military equipment event. We would probably, if you're all going to be attending that, because that has some relation to this, probably agendize that as a special meeting. And it doesn't mean that there's a formal meeting happening there. We just notify the public that you may all be there. So you see this happen from time to time with the city council of, the state of the city or other sorts of public events they may all be attending to. No one really notices because it just gets posted on the website and the bulletin board to meet the requirements and make sure we're in compliance, but won't impact your ability to go there and do this thing.
So out of the abundance of caution, just notice anything that we're going to.
Yeah, or let Scotty know that you're interested in something and he'll, we can keep track of what's going on if you're all going to be there or not, or if the majority of you are going to be there or not.
That's not onerous, I think.
How often is it that we're going to have an event on a Saturday that a majority of us could be at the same time? That's not going to happen a lot. I have a hard time being here, obviously, all of it.
That's true. Thank you for that.
Just tonight.
What if I offer to do pizza in my backyard?
Hey,
Actually, we'll take that brick.
I'll
oven
take
pizza.
that.
I'll take that brick oven pizza.
We'll only talk about your landscaping and not CPRB.
Okay. Appreciate it. I have one more suggestion for ad hoc committee, if for the board. Understanding our bylaws and everything, maybe we can have a know your rights ad hoc just to make sure we can kind of accomplish that, whether it's a presentation, whether we do a demonstration in the community, just something. Then, just put some focus on us to get it done this time around. We had an ad hoc for it,
And I think we got to remember, we got to put a timeline on these ad hocs. We have to put parameters around them.
Indeed.
For creation, yeah. So
Yeah.
if we do create an ad hoc for that, we got to have, what month we're going to want to present that report and have the event go on and all that.
You don't have to have that defined. You have to have a deadline of when you're going to have your plan defined. So if it means the event has to happen after, that's okay, as long as you're
You have a
building the
plan.
roadmap with a
Okay.
deadline, so to speak.
Okay. Yeah, those are my two.
I think
Then-
they're,
Ooh, I did
they're-
have one more, actually.
Well, just to finish with that, so that means whoever's on that committee, that first meeting were to set goals and come back to this group and say, here's what our goals are, and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes,
hold us accountable to it.
Okay.
absolutely. All right, you said you had another one on
No, it actually just coincided with the first one.
with
That's
the
all. I just read
strategic
it again.
partnership.
Yeah, I just read it again and it went with the first one, so.
Anybody have any questions about the strategic partnership ad hoc? You fully understand it? What its purpose and
not
intention?
an ad hoc without a group that wants to or can be
Yeah, we
on
have
it.
to.
But I'm just saying, for that to be an ad hoc, if we are going to establish one, I'm just want to make sure that we understand what it would look like, the strategic partnership ad hoc and the Know Your Rights ad hoc. Does anybody else have any other ones they are considering, thinking
think
about?
If I can, I support the concept, but I think triggering it as an ad hoc might make sense after the presentation from them about what partnerships they have in place. And then going, okay, now here I see what you've got. Let's build forward. Who wants to help build a bridge from there? Because I think it's only a month or two out, but
Yeah.
Are you speaking of the strategic
Yes.
Yeah.
partnership?
So like
one?
kind of
So
table it, right? Table it until.
put that in the parking
we
lot?
back up when we hear from them what all they
Got it.
have. So, and we have more people present to see who would get engaged there.
Yeah, I agree. 100% agree with that.
Are we able to do that? Put the ad hoc in the parking lot?
My
Oh, yeah,
plan
we
is-
don't have to create it tonight, so we
Yeah.
can just,
Probably
Okay.
both,
you can create, you want to put the Know Your Rights in the parking lot too? You want to create it so we can get it going?
Well,
I'm a little leery with the creating them when we're have so many
it should-
people
yeah.
missing.
So I was just
That's
thinking
true.
that,
Okay.
and then you can always like you said, like when it comes, like you said, when it comes to
I
the
have
ad
a
hoc,
question.
you could, like when it comes to the ad hoc, we could set a plan on when we need to get it done as far as like the planning and everything, the process. It's just, we just kind of want everyone here. And I agree with that, honestly. I think
Who's
we
going to
do.
be the brain trust in there with you?
Right,
kind of
yeah.
thing.
So,
Yeah.
so for this, we're suggesting these as potential ad hocs. Send it out to everybody that's not here and say, hey, think about this and come back next month and we'll.
Are we?
The strategic
Form-
partnership one I was suggesting
Yeah,
gets resurrected after we hear from the department on the partnerships they have currently going on as a way to trigger that energy.
I agree with you on that, yeah.
Right. My question, can we table these ad hocs for later? And then
Yeah.
even with our CPRB annual report ad hoc, we have not our full staff here. How are we going to?
Well, you can still establish that ad hoc. I mean, the reality is you're going to need to do that one for sure.
Mhm.
So, I mean, somebody doesn't have to be present in order to be part of that particular ad hoc.
Okay.
Or, there's folks that you have here, like, I'll go ahead and be a part of that this year, or however you want to decide to move forward. The creation of it, if you put, let's say, 2 members, and you wanted to add a third, maybe at the next meeting, you're more than welcome to,
Oh, got it.
establish the ad hoc committee and then add someone to it. And of course, as noted in the bylaws, Chairperson Beasley Day, that's at your discretion in order to appoint those members.
Got it.
can
Alright.
she appoint the people that aren't here to the committees?
She's able to appoint anybody that's a member of the board.
You still can
I'm
accept
just-
or
You
decline,
don't
Brad.
wanna be- you don't wanna be
Not
on
that
the
that
board.
doesn't exist. Not that that doesn't happen in other ones that I've seen in the past.
And they want to put timelines on these. That was part of my hesitation on the other also.
Mhm.
But I think the annual report is the critical one.
It is the critical one. All right.
Yep. And then throughout the year, I mean, you can always, if there's, especially if there's as a topic, board member, there's, like you said, this is a particular topic that happened. Yes, there's an F now that we'd like to create off of that.
So should we
We're going to,
vote to establish the ad hoc annual
yes,
committee report
Yes.
tonight and then
Yep.
figure out who's gonna be on it?
we're gonna appoint the people on it.
Well, we don't have to appoint today, do we?
Yes.
I would have
Please
to,
do.
at least two people, yes. Which two of you want to volunteer? You will? Frank,
Do it again.
all right, Frank.
Frank just stepped up. Thank you,
Frank is
sir.
one.
You're on it.
I know. I'm the fourth man in the fire. Christensen,
I will decline. I can't handle the timing right now.
Austin,
For what?
the annual report ad
Report.
hoc committee.
I would rather wait till everyone gets here to accept or decline anything. So I think I would put myself on hold right now until the next meeting.
Why would you do such a thing as that?
No, I have personal reasons as to that, you know, I just rather everyone be here, you know, and I just think if everyone's here, you know, people say yes or no, then there'll be a decision that, you know, I can make.
Right. Brad,
I'm with her. I'm very busy. Well, I thought I was retired, but I'm not.
oh, yeah, that
Can't be
retired
retired on the
thing.
board.
Can't retire when you're a community person either.
That's true.
Go.
I'm sorry.
Personally, I was on the last two annual reports, so I would like to step back to allow someone else to step in place for that. And then I probably have some stuff going on this upcoming few months, and we'll be out of commission for a
Right.
little while.
So I'll say yes, but I'll say yes with some caution. The reason why I'm saying with caution is because I have interest in other ad hocs that we created tonight, and just settling myself up to, I really want to be there. I think that's my biggest thing, and I don't want to. I've had a problem with saying yes too much.
So that's where my question was actually going to come back to staff.
Hold it.
If Frank stepped up
Let's see.
saying he's willing to be on the annual report subcommittee and Latricia sits on it, is that enough to establish it for tonight? And then we, or she, yes, can backfill in.
Yeah, you could establish it with one person. I mean, it really, it's just, there's up to three, and then the chair is the fourth.
Who am I missing? Wendy, Ken, Nancy. And that's it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, it's open. I hope.
It's open, but you have it. You've accomplished it for now.
Hmm. All right. I'll check in with them on my own. All right. Ready for a motion? Am I? Yeah.
I'm
No,
gonna just seek
please.
some clarification.
Yes.
So I have you down. So Austin, is that a yes from you
No, it's Frank.
No.
It's Frank.
for Frank?
Yes.
Frank is yes.
Okay.
And Latricia Beasley Day.
But yeah, I'm the obvious one. But
Yeah, this is supposed to be kind of like those assigned projects that you get grouped and you don't want to be grouped, but you have to be grouped.
mhm. Okay.
Okay, so we have two members currently.
Yes.
Alex, are we good to proceed and then we can just revisit it? How would that work? I just want you to chime in so I can make note.
Yeah, all we need to do tonight is a motion to create the committee. We don't need to assign people tonight, and the chair can assign people later on. That's what the bylaws provide. And you know, it doesn't have to be, it can be up to 4 people, but if you know there's only 3 people that want to do it or are willing, it can be, like Scotty mentioned, it could be smaller as well.
You said it could have 4 on there?
I would be the fourth one.
Yeah.
It would be
Four.
3 people, and then I would be the fourth man in the fire.
It's helping me out with those numbers.
Right. So can I get a motion to establish the CPRB ad hoc committee?
I'll make a motion, ma'am.
I have one motion. Do I have a second?
Second,
Yes,
Right.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, can you do the roll call?
Member Christensen,
Yes.
Member Grant,
Aye.
Member Demrell,
Aye.
Chairwoman Beasley Day,
Yes.
Member Han,
aye.
Member Solorio.
All right, then. The motion carries and we have our CPRB ad hoc committee established. All right, we'll move on to staff comments and reports. Is our friend Stephen here tonight?
I actually have one question before we move on. So with the ad hoc, with the new ad hocs that we have that we're creating and with the old ones, will the old ones be absolved or do we keep them?
It's coming. It's on the
No, but
agenda.
I'm just thinking, hey, we were just on ad hocs.
I know.
Same question.
The beard?
That is Stephen with the beard.
Good evening.
Stephen.
Thank you, Chair Beasley Day, for that warm welcome and for noticing the new look here. Yeah, I've been monitoring the proceedings remotely tonight. Happy to have the opportunity to be with you, at least in this way. And I know that a lot of the focus has been on planning for the next few months and topics that you are going to be putting on your schedule. I just wanted to check in to update you. If I'm remembering this correctly, I am supposed to be there in April for your April meeting to present the independent police auditor annual report. And I am still on schedule to be able to provide you with that report ahead of time so you can digest it a little bit and then present publicly at your April meeting. I have been working closely with Lieutenant Kleiber just in terms of rounding up the pool of cases that are going to be looked at. He has provided me with everything that I've needed or am going to need, and I'm distributing some of the individual case packages to some of my colleagues just to get some other sets of eyes on it and some different perspectives. There are approximately 50 internal affairs investigations, public complaints, and internally generated complaints that the IPA office is going to be looking at. And then I think the number that we arrived at when we just applied the formula was about 60 use of force incidents. And again, looking at the package that the department puts together as far as investigating those, looking at the body worn camera from the incidents, the department's analysis of it, et cetera. So I have the raw material in terms of completed cases, and I'm looking forward to getting through that, putting some thoughts and recommendations together as with the past couple of years, and sharing that with you in the weeks to come. And other than that, again, happy to be here, happy to answer any questions that you folks have, and otherwise I will look forward to seeing you next month.
I have a question. That's the first time I can recall you saying that you share some of this with colleagues to get another set of eyes. Totally get the purpose behind that. Are they all employees with you? Are they other partners? And do they all have law enforcement backgrounds?
So the great question, my colleague Mike Giannacco is somebody that has probably would be most familiar to you. But we have a core group of 4 people that are part of OIR Group. Everybody has ample qualifications as far as familiarity with oversight work and police practices and everything else. And yeah, I am going to be very careful. I will certainly be doing the lion's share of them myself, but I have a lot of trust in my colleagues, and we'll make sure that the process is well coordinated.
Thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions for Stephen? Okay. And no public comments. All right. Thank you very much, Stephen.
All right, thank you, Chair.
So next up is staff comments and reports. Report briefly on his or her activities. All right. So staff comments and reports. Scotty, your lovely name is here. At this time, staff may make a brief announcement or report briefly on his, her activities.
I will be reporting on behalf of Scotty.
What you say?
I know we've had quite a mention on the questions for business cards, polls, and such. So I am working with our communications team currently to kind of get those things situated. It does take a little bit because we have to work through all the design portions, keeping it in line with our branding, and then just carrying out orders. So we're figuring all of that out. Off the top of my head, the key things I've heard is some sort of like polo that has your name, but we're thinking of business cards. I know a brochure was mentioned. We're thinking perhaps like a flyer, maybe a QR code that links them back to the CPRB webpage for more information. That might be best. And this is all going to be pending approval of city manager. So we do like the design work, all of the curation, getting the prices, everything. So there's a process to it. And as we move through that and we get the approval, we'll report back to you guys.
What about a nice badge? You know, that works.
I like that. I think that's something I'll notate.
Yeah.
The police department does have junior police officer badges.
Oh, man.
I thought you had to be a
Do it.
minor to get those.
Well, I think that the Community Police Review Board needs to have their own and, you know, or even, you know, create it so that when we're out, that's what it says. So, you know, we are for you.
That's funny.
Like the
That was-
shirts,
that
but
was
it could
great.
almost be either. The badge could go on any shirt.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea. I'll notate that. And like I said, as we move through that, get our approvals, I will keep you guys posted.
Board Member Byrd would be the first one sitting here saying, what about a tablecloth or a pop-up?
Yeah.
I have that notated as well.
Okay.
And we'll report back on that.
Okay. My question is, what about social media presence? It's been a topic for quite some time now, and I have yet to see any kind of posting from the city.
I will defer to, I think, Alex. I think we've prefaced this a little bit before. As you'll notice, if you go into social media, the rest of our boards and commissions also are not advertised on social media. So I think I don't know if it's a standing policy or how that works, but I think I want to defer to Alex to kind of address that.
Yeah, that's the city's practice. Certainly if that's the board is something that's interested in doing, that's a conversation staff could bring to the city manager for his direction, and to discuss that with him.
Yeah, because I think what happens is, you know, you do it for one, you have to do it for all. And I believe we have 22, Scotty, boards and commissions, maybe more.
We actually have a total of 51.
I was way off.
51.
Some aren't currently meeting, but the total of about 51 boards, commissions, and committees that are advisory to the council.
Because I don't want to like pull teeth here, but I see, you know, meetings of different things that the city puts on, art area that they want to change in the city to make it artsy and stuff like that. And they post about it. There's going to be a committee meeting, city constituents show up, give us your ideas on what you want, things like that. And if this is a community police review board, we all here know how many people are in this room currently. And I just think if there was some kind of social media presence, we'd probably get more community input into our board meeting. So yeah, if that's a possibility to raise to the city manager, I would greatly appreciate it.
Well, this is not a topic of discussion. That's an agendized item. However, we will definitely take this information and consider it internally. And then, you know, like what was shared just prior, the city manager, our Communications Department, they have already weighed in, and as, City Attorney just noted, but appreciate the input, and
Mhm.
we'll consider that.
Right. Any other update on this, our swag?
No, not at this time.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Simi. All right, any announcements from staff? Your activities or things?
From board?
Excuse me, from board, pardon me. Yes.
Chairman, I
see.
guess you would go
Go to
back
6.
down to board comments
Yep.
and reports and then start off with policy goal 8.
All right.
I just like read it out.
All righty, you said, oh, yes. All right, board comments and reports. Policy goal number 8, review use of force policy to minimize likelihood of death resulting from use of force. Austin, do you have any? Have you guys dissolved?
No, we don't have anything to report at this time.
Okay.
We're comfortable closing down this ad hoc.
Are you guys ready to close out this ad hoc committee?
Not sure.
Okay. Policy goal number 1, improve relations between the community and the department. That'd be myself, Trish, and Frank.
As I mentioned last month, we've not been meeting in months. We did some initial outreach and at this point are comfortable sunsetting or closing down
Sunsetting.
the ad hoc to move on to new ones.
Thank you. Policy goal number 3, reduce youth arrests, particularly among Latino youth. I don't know how my name got on there. I'm not on that committee, but okay. Wendy Bird, Brad Hahn, and Nico Solorio. Any report, Nico or Brad?
I have nothing for tonight.
Are you guys ready to sunset that ad hoc committee?
I think we are because we plan on just creating a different, more focused ad hoc. So
Right, any, so no one had any announcements or reports of your activities or anything, so I'm gonna go back to you, Austin. Are you sunsetting policy goal number 8, or you still say you don't know?
I'm gonna say I don't know. I didn't talk to my other policy members as of yet if they would like to dissolve yet. So I'm gonna just say not sure right now. So I'm gonna say no, we're not looking to dissolve at this moment.
Okay. All right, so we are sunsetting policy goal number 1 and policy goal number 3.
does there have to be a motion on that? No? Okay.
And let's see, future agenda items. I think we already have those laid out. Do we?
Yes, it was just TBD because we were
Yes.
going to finalize them.
Right. And anything else? I think we are ready to adjourn this meeting. And our next meeting will be March 18th. Mark your calendar.